Hello and welcome back to Mars for another nature figure review. Today we are looking at the Jada Toys Ultra Street Fighter 2 The Final Challengers Vega. And I gotta tell you, I am a bit conflicted because I don't know if I should approach this review subjectively or objectively, because I've got some mixed feelings. I've got my own personal inputs. I've got my own personal disappointments with this release, and I'm just not sure how to go about it. So let's just see how it all goes and breaks down. But here is the packaging for the figure. Again, very nostalgic. It looks great. It's very appealing to the eye to see. You've got the figure and you can see the light shining above the left shoulder of the figure because we have a little window coming down for the light to shine through, which is great. I think that's awesome. And you can see it being very practical here in this sense. On the side of the box, you can see the renders of the different artworks for the game. On the back, you can see the whole roster, the figure here on the back. And then here you can get the origin of Vega, the country, his style, and all that good stuff. So, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get this figure out of the packaging and see what all it comes with. This figure comes pretty packed for a Jada release here. We're getting two head sculpts, the masked head sculpt and then the unmasked head sculpt. We are going to be talking about this because we've got some things to talk about. We get the mask by itself. You're going to be getting two sets of hands. This one hand here has the claw. We're getting the claw by itself and then the slash effect. Altogether, aesthetically, it looks great, and very pleased aesthetically on how this all looks packaged together and stuff like that. Now, let's go ahead. We got to remove all of the tape, of course. I've already removed the plastic wraps that are already there, so we've gotten that out of the way. You know, it is a tedious task when unboxing these figures, but let's go ahead and take a look at the size comparisons for this figure. For our first size comparison, we have three of the kings here. We've got M.A.R.S, Sagat, and then Vega, of course. Now, we're just missing Balrog, and then we'll have all four. Though, I will say I'm shocked because I feel like M.A.R.S would be a little bit taller than Vega, but I guess not. According to this scale, it looks like Vega's taller, which is pretty cool, I guess. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the next size comparisons that we have here for you. For our next size comparisons, we have the Maximum Series Spider-Man and the Maximum Series Hulk. Out here in the natural lighting, I think they all look well together, if I'm being honest. Now, this next size comparison, I wasn't sure if I wanted to do it, but you know I got to do it. So let's go ahead and bring them out. For our next size comparison, we have, up next we've got the Street Fighter Gods, Storm Arenas, Street Fighter Alpha 3, Ken Masters, and then Ryu here on the right. Looking very good. I will say maybe the table's got something to do with it. You can see Ken's a little bit taller, but hey, this is what they look like beside each other. Vega's overtowering them. He's a tall Spaniard. It is what it is. Now let's go ahead and bring this figure in and take a closer look at the aesthetic and that head sculpt. All right, so here's the part of the review that some of you probably ain't gonna like. I will tell you now that this is the second Jada Toys review here on the channel. So if you've made it this far and you're enjoying yourself, make sure you hit that like button to support the channel. Now, let's go ahead and get into this. The first thing I want to tell you is that, listen, all of these characters, all these figures we're getting from Jada Toys, those are inspired by Ultra Street Fighter 2. They're not copy-paste, it's not beat for beat, and I hope by now all of you realize that. So going into this next segment here, I just want to let you know that this is Jada's take on all these characters. It's not going to be an exact replica like other companies would do out there, right? So let's go ahead and talk about the elephant in the room. That's going to be this head sculpt. You know, it does look good, I guess you could say. I've seen some people that their eyes are crossed for this figure, but it doesn't look, in my opinion, as good as the prototype that we saw at the New York Comic-Con and San Diego Comic-Con last year. You know, granted, again, it is inspired by Jada, right? So changes are going to be made, and that's one issue I have with this figure. The next is going to be like the tattooing on the figure. Where's the black outline? The black outline, that is tattoo 101. You gotta have that. Other, you know, SH Figure Arts has it. I think maybe Soda Toys had it. And I just feel like the coloring of this figure is not from the prototype, and then we don't even have the shading or the lining for the tattoo. I think that would have added more depth to this release, but you know, it still looks cool. It's a great design from Capcom. So Capcom, they knew what they were doing when they made the design for this character. It looks great. Just I would say maybe Jada Toys' impression or inspiration isn't as good as Capcom's, but that's just me here. The next thing is going to be, oh, you know, what I really don't like about the Jada figures is that you can see the lines throughout the whole sculpt. Like maybe right here you can see that, like the line that's right here, there's a line here. You see it right there on the neck. Let's see, you can see it here in the elbows, on the joints. You can see it here as well. And that for me, I don't know. I mean, I get it's a cheap figure, right? $25, $30. You can see it here on the back as well. I just wish they would go over it with like some sandpaper and like get all that stuff gone. Get it gone, because you can see it everywhere on all the joints and all the pieces. Even here on the back, you can see them stems. I don't know. I mean, you know, like I said, this is a great toy. It's not really a premium collectible. You know what I mean? It's something I'd get from my cousin, my little bro, something like that. But it looks really good for the price point. It looks good. $30. Capcom knew what they were doing with this character. It's so vibrant. It's popping. And again, you know, going back with Jada Toys' inspiration for this figure, I'm pretty sure the claw is not on the right hand. Now, speculation of licensing is a thing. And then the color is supposed to be silver, not gold. So yeah, all the way around, I gotta say, if I'm someone looking for that nostalgic feeling when playing Vega back in the day and wanting to get that sprite in my hand, you're not gonna get that with Jada. And it's, you know, we don't know if we're gonna get that with other people out there later on, but you're not getting that with this Jada right here, this Jada Toys figure. And then we've got the soft goods stash. I would say that's the highlight, honestly, of this figure. At least one of the highlights is going to be the stash. It looks good. Soft goods, posable wire, it looks great. And speaking of great, the weather out here is great. It feels so damn good outside right now. Whew. Yeah, I'm sure you've seen people like going with the kayaks and things like that. It's just a great day to be outside. Last thing I'm going to touch on is going to be the toe hinge. You know, we've got to make improvements along the way. And I feel like Jada Toys, they messed up by revealing all of the figures in the roster for the game. We've seen all of them, and it's almost as if those are going to be like the final product. I mean, clearly with Vega, that's not the case, but as far as improvements with toe hinges and things like that, we're not going to be seeing that from Jada with other figures down the line. At least I don't think so. If it didn't feature it in that final product or the prototype, as far as the joints, then you're not going to get that here. And this here, it works, but it can be a little bit distracting, I guess you can say. Now, all of those negatives that I've mentioned, it still doesn't outline the fact that this is still a good figure. And for the price point of $30, like, it does look good. They did a great job. It's their own twist on it, and for their own twist, I'm liking it. So let's go ahead and move into articulation really quickly. The figure does feel a little bit loose, I will say. Not sure if that's because of the heat or what. So this is like the first figure I've gotten from Jada where it does feel a bit loose on the first go around. This figure can look up this much. He can look down this much. Kind of can lean side to side, but I guess it looks better if you just twist it. You know, we're getting the T-poses there. We've got your butterfly joints, also bicep swivel, double jointed elbows. The wrist rotates. Down foot at the leg, or let's see. You can kind of rock. Damn, you really can't rock that much on the upper torso here, but you can tuck good. And you can lean back good, which is great for his posing and stuff like that. Like, that all looks good. The sculpting looks pretty good on this figure. You can see. That looks pretty good. And the tattoo does look nice. I just wish they would have outlined it. It would have popped a lot more. And maybe been a darker shade. I'm not sure if the prototype was a little bit darker or lighter. I'm not sure, but I really did enjoy the prototype. But this still looks good. For the legs, you can get that 90. You've got your double jointed knees here as well. You got your thigh cut, so you got your thigh swivel. The foot does extend out good, and you do have your little twist here at the Achilles. You can go this way, rocker movement. So yeah, articulation's pretty good. That never has been an issue for me personally when it comes to Jada. Like, the articulation is something I could never gripe about. Oh shoot! Sorry, I have something itching my elbow, biting my elbow. I don't know. But yeah, definitely the articulation, I would say for Jada, no complaints. Now, maybe with the toe hinge, that's another story. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at the accessories. You've already seen the current head sculpt and you know how I feel about it. So let's go ahead and take a look at the more different head sculpt here. Hold on. All right, yeah. Oh, look at that, 1,000 times better. Oh, this is what we needed. Fresh out the gate, a breath of fresh air here. Holy shit, my whole mood, everything has changed. Like, we've reached another level of happiness and joyness here because this head sculpt looks really, really damn good. You had in that ugly ass face. I'm just kidding. But yeah, so the mask looks great. Definitely would be the route to go when displaying this figure. And like the mask, you could just see, it just changed everything. Like, everything has changed. Everything just got better out here. It's made of a softer plastic here a little bit, and the hair looks good. The hair actually has got some movement in the back, which is cool. Very nice. So yeah, it looks very good with that. And then for the hands, you've already seen the fist already. Let's go ahead and swap some of these out. Okay, we've got our open hands here. Now I'm not sure if these are supposed to be for the mask. I would assume so. Maybe the mask and the claws. Oh, you know what? It's actually for him climbing the fence. So these hands actually have multiple roles. So that's cool to have a pair of hands that, or a set of hands that play multiple roles for a figure. So it looks great. The mask does make a huge difference. Here we've got our claw effect here, and then you can see you can grip that pretty easy there, right? Okay. And then up next, one thing I forgot to mention is that you can actually put the claw on the gripping hand, and to do so all you need to do is just press these hands together and then slide it through the grooves there. I'm sure you can see, and then that's it. So let's continue. We've got our mask here, which again is a softer plastic, and I will say on the prototype they actually had this colored in. This was painted in on the prototype, and now you can see we're getting the final product and it's not painted in. Maybe it's because maybe the prototype had a harder plastic, and maybe that has some role as to why that didn't happen, and now it's a soft plastic. Not entirely sure, but there's that. And then let's see, I guess you could probably maybe something like, hold on. Yeah, so there you go. You can grip the mask, you can grip the claws. And then we've got one more thing to look at. That's going to be this slash effect here. And then let's just swap this out really quickly. And now, okay. There are 3 grooves that you can see. All 3 right there, and that's how it slides in. And then when it's all said and done, get him a little posed up here. Yep, there it goes. So yeah, it looks pretty cool. Like I said in the beginning of the video, this release came packed with plenty of accessories for the price point. I'm very happy with the accessories that we got. Now let's go ahead and end this review with the conclusion. Let's get into it. For being the second Jada Toys Street Fighter review here on the channel, I am surprisingly pleased. You know, could this figure have been a lot better? Absolutely. But we do have a Vega figure that is affordable, that can fit in pretty much everyone's 1/12 collection. And that's very important when making those decisions, like, should I pick this figure up or not? When we're talking $30 for everything that you're getting, it's good. It's worth the price, I would say. And there's no doubt in my mind I would recommend you this figure because you would enjoy this figure. Is the SH Figuarts better than this one? Probably so, but it's a lot more expensive. Is Asoto Toys more accurate to the sprite of the game and things like that? Yeah, depending on the game, sure, I would say Asoto Toys is probably a little bit more accurate to its source material. But what we've got here from Jada is something special. It's something that is their own take, and that is very important to realize. And when judging the aesthetic of this figure and every figure from Jada Toys, it's important to realize that it's Jada's own spin on it, not going to be beat for beat copy and paste, which, although it may not sit well with every collector out there, I think it is something to admire and appreciate. But thank you all for watching this review. I hope you had a great time. Make sure you smash that like button. We are going live tomorrow, July 6th. We're going to be doing a recap of the Anime Expo. So if you want to, give any feedback on this review and talk Anime Expo tomorrow, make sure you stop by and we'll see you all then. Until then, have a great day and peace.